Morning. The sun is exactly in the right place to hit me in the eyes, but it's beautiful. We're getting into that place where it's going to start being warm enough that I'm going to start switching to doing daily devotions downstairs, where I can open the door and listen to the birds and have Astra staring at the birds in the morning and listening to the outside, though I'm either going to have to do daily devotions before 7 o'clock in the morning, or the traffic is going to be ridiculous because we're only like 4 houses down from a main road, or I will have to do daily devotions with the door closed, or do them up here, which I might just still do them up here. We'll see. And maybe I won't change until Beltane. I'm not sure. But I'm letting you know that the scene might change a little bit. Oh my goodness. I slept wrong and my neck is killing me. And I thought maybe if I used the heating pad on my neck, it would help. But I can't tell that it's helping. I'm going to try this. Try something new, right? I spent a little bit more money and I got this heating pad that you can roll up, and it's got this artificial polyester fleece on it, because every heating pad I've ever had, I don't know if you know the old ones, they have their wire and they have plastic covering them, and if you use them too long, the plastic actually, or the wires burn the plastic, and the plastic degrades over time, and they are a huge fire hazard. And they come with these really cheap covers, and every single one I've ever had, I've just thrown the cover away, and I just use it until the plastic degrades and I throw it away. And these are supposed to be in a higher quality. They still have the wire in them, but they're not covered in plastic, like a hard plastic cover. They're covered in this polyester plastic, which to me is still kind of counterintuitive. Why wouldn't you use wool? Because plastic is plastic. I don't understand why heating pads aren't made out of wool. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Anyway, my rant about wool. I would rather have a wool one than a plastic one, but I don't get that option. Okay. Today's card, enter the chamber of healing, healing in the divine chamber of the Lady Isis. I think it's really interesting. It's just columns. It's a doorway. It's the card of a doorway. Very simple. This particular artist does a lot of very busy cards, so to have one that's really simple is kind of, interesting. Be open without expectation or preconceived notions, and allowing the healing from the Lady Isis to help you find the best solution to any situation. Take your time and create space into which her magic and energy can flow. When the divine Lady Isis offers you a healing gift of magic, it is something to accept as a gift of unconditional love with open arms. It will be offered without agenda, with the only intent being for your highest good and spiritual growth. It is not necessary to look or feel like you expected, but you will realize the unfoldment of the process and circumstances that was a spiritual gift from the divine, even though it may not be recognized as such at the time. Time and sacred space to contemplate and reflect is extremely helpful to receive divine intervention as consciously, swiftly, and fully as possible. Sacred space can be a physical space that allows you to put your day-to-day activities and thoughts to one side and instead indulge in just being as you are in the moment. Sacred space allows you to simply to be, to not have to think, to sort things out or analyze, but to be open, rest, and allow inspiration or guidance to come as and when it chooses. It is important when entering sacred space that we do not set an agenda or a specific expectation. We do not have to think of anything more than, I dedicate the space to divine within. when not attempting to find solutions, but actually letting go and mentally and emotionally allowing ourselves to go into a peaceful state, relaxed but not numb, we can often find guidance, inspiration, clarity, and knowing drop into our awareness. So this card triggered a thing. So I used to say all the time that when I would go into a truly healing meditative state, I would feel as though, remember the old computers and it would do the dial, like that phone line World Wide Web sound. And if you wanted to download something from the internet, it would give you this bar. And it would slowly, and sometimes if your phone did a blip, it would lose it and you'd have to start over. I used to say that if I were truly in the right place, there would be a download. There would be a feeling as though I was receiving information, not new information. It would be more of a remembering information, a download of remembering. And years go by, and I've said this for years. Now I'm hearing it back from other people. I'm hearing phrases like, I got a download last night, or I dreamed and I got a download. And it's really fun how words have changed over time because we use a lot more computer technology words. But I still want to reinforce that there is a place of remembering that comes with some of this information. And when you are in a healing sacred space, there is a remembering quality. It's not new, it's remembered. And I've talked about astral temple, sacred temple, meditative temple for decades. And I teach it. I actually still teach it. I talk about it. And one of the things that I have discovered, especially in the last 15, 20 years, is that many of my students, or many of the people that I've talked about astral temple, they are actually remembering their astral temple. They're going to a place that they created in other lifetimes or in other consciousness states, and they don't have to build it from scratch. And that's pretty cool, because what that really shows me is that we have more entities that are remembering their sacred space of true self. So astral temple is kind of like part meditative exercise where you are coming to a place of peace in your mind, but energetically you are also connecting into that space between yourself and your higher self in that other dimension where we exist. That's part here, part there. And astral temple is the bridge. Astral temple is the place that our consciousness can connect to between here and our higher self. Because our higher self is so much more aware of things than we are. And we have access vibrationally to parts of our higher self. Maybe not all of our higher self, because I feel fairly certain that that is a prescription for a padded cell and heavy medication, because our physical bodies can't handle that. And that's okay. I'm not sure I want to have access to all of my higher self. I don't think it's necessary. I think it would be just too confusing and day-to-day life would not function well. But astral temple gives us a place in between. It's a sacred place that we have created that our conscious, subconscious self in this body, that's anchored in this body, can access our higher self, our guides, our animal companions, the entities that are helping us in this life. They can go to that sacred place and communicate with us. And the chamber of healing is talked about in multiple traditions from all around the world. Native Americans talked about it. Aboriginal people in Australia talk about it. African legends talk about it. White people, ancestors talk about it. The Zoroastrians talked about it. Asian cultures talk about it. Astral temple is talked about in all cultures around the world. They talk about it in different ways. They call it different things, but it is the same thing. And astral temple is the bridge. It is the bridge between our physical consciousness and our higher consciousness, wherever the rest of it resides. But there's a thread, there's a place, there's a dimension, maybe it's in the subtle field. I don't really have an answer to those questions, but I know that it's a bridgy place, that you can talk to your guides in that place. It is a safe place. No evil entity can get to that place. It is not something that can be invaded by somebody else's consciousness. No psychic can get there. No narcissist can get there. No sociopath can get there. No evil, fear-based, negative anything can get there. It is sacred. It is 100% protected. And you have the ability to affect change in that space. And as you grow and as you develop your astral temple, you can welcome in more of your higher self, the entities that are surrounding you to help you. You can grow as fast or as slow as you need to in that space. One of the beautiful things about my astral temple that I've talked about when I've taught classes on astral temple is that when I am being extraordinarily stubborn in my day-to-day waking life and I go to my astral temple and my guides have moved the furniture, it's usually a sign, hey, you need to pay attention to something. My guides are very communicative with me, and I encourage that because I sometimes miss things. And when they are trying to communicate with me, that is the place that I can accept that communication, and I can accept it in a safe and loving way. And it doesn't trigger a trauma response. It doesn't trigger a shutdown. It doesn't trigger fear. It is here's a loving, accepting, beautiful way to remind me that my physical shell, my conscious mind, is refusing to deal with something. So astral temple's a very powerful tool. I've been thinking about starting to teach classes again, which is a really scary thing for me because last time I taught classes consistently in basics, not just like a workshop here and there, like every single week or every 2 weeks teaching a class. That became a huge thing, and I was bullied. And I was bullied really, really badly. And so to open myself up to teaching again, well, first off, I did it for free for decades. And then I got bullied. And I got bullied several times from several different communities over time. So this is a real brave thing for me to come out of hiding, so to speak, and teach things like astral temple and breath and community ceremonial stuff and boundaries and ethics and the things that I think really matter in building community and understanding so that we all have the same language. None of this should be expensive. None of this should be some mystery that somebody's keeping secret, but it should be taught in an ethical way, in a methodical way, so that everybody gets the things they need and things aren't missed. So Enter the chamber of healing. She is teaching through sacred space. And one of the things about Astral Temple is that when your swirly bits in your head are going around like crazy squirrels on crack cocaine, sometimes you just have to let them run their circle. It doesn't have to become absolutely still. Sometimes you have to transmute energy in another way to get the squirrels to slow down. Sometimes it's a long walk. Sometimes it's listening to music. Sometimes it's knitting or crocheting or whatever it is. Creating that stillness within is different for each person. I embroider in quiet, no music, no radio, no additional stimuli. I embroider. I keep my hands busy so my mind can come to a place of stillness after it's run squirrels in circles. And Astral Temple is a way for me to go to sleep. And I use Astral Temple almost every single night. I go to that sacred space so that I can go to sleep. Maybe that's the reason I haven't struggled with sleep in ways that other people have. We all have our own journey with this. Anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful day. I send you some unconditional love, some place of peace, and I encourage you to find sacred space within your mind. And maybe I'll do a video on Astral Temple. I think that would be a really good thing to do. And I've thought about doing it, but I don't think I have done it. And if I have, it was many years ago, and that video is lost somewhere on Facebook's space. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you in prayer. Blessed be. If you're going to comment on the videos, please do. It helps the algorithm. And two, I really, really hope that you enjoy these, and these bring light and love and blessing to your life. And the more that you comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell, share these with friends, the more it works on the algorithm, and the more that it shows me different videos that you get more out of. And I welcome that communication. Have a blessed day, and I will see you in prayer.